Coach Rod here. Today, we're going to dive in, take a little bit of a deeper dive into Isa versus Eduarda, this Olympia, and why it turned out the way that it did. I know a lot of people were dropping comments saying, hey, we want even more, even though I did full freaking videos on the whole wellness call out there. Let's just go a little bit more in depth here and talk one-on-one, just the biggest differences in these physiques and ultimately what it means for you as a wellness competitor. First and foremost, I'm getting rid of my free trial, folks. I know you've seen it offered on this channel a lot of times. We are going to phase this bad boy out of the game here at this point. So do not miss out on this. Grab your phone right now. You can type this in, teamfflex.com/7-day trial. And within minutes, you can be in my app, chat with me. I'll train you free for 7 days, okay? Same way that my clients get it. You get to come in there. You get to experience that. Training splits, access to the platform, nutrition, posing, whatever it is you're looking for, physique assessment, stuff like that. If you watch the channel and get anything out of these videos, you'll get 100 times more, promise you, coming over here and doing that. So do not miss out on a chance to do that. I have to throw that out there, because literally it is going to be gone. All right. So obviously we have, this year's Olympia throwing some people for a loop. A lot of people didn't think, Isa was going to lose that title. Nobody thought Eduarda was going to come up that fast, so on and so forth, right? Well, here we are with them side by side yet again. And first thing I want to say, both athletes very clearly superior representations of wellness division criteria. Like, no doubt about it. These are the top two best in the world. Whenever you're looking at Olympia champions, because Isa, she was the former Olympia champion, Eduarda is current. You're looking at the standard, the criteria, the idea. Doesn't mean you necessarily want to look exactly like them to compete, but it does give you framework to understand that out of these athletes, these are the ones that are winning, right? So here's what we're looking at. Biggest difference all the time that I see, and I want to talk a little bit more just outside of physique even, we will. But let's start with Isa's posing, okay? Because posing here, such a big thing. Isa, is her front pose is just not ultra strong. This look here is not, and that came up against Fran a lot too. I think that we've seen that pretty consistently with her. It's not a super strong pose. It's honestly mostly just her shape. I know this from coaching athletes, right? Some athletes have a little bit of a longer torso, and that makes a bigger difference. It can make, your abdominals look a bit extended. It can make this line just look longer in general. And, her front pose just doesn't really showcase her physique as strong, because she's very, very strong in every pose. She has all this, the muscle, all the shape, all the condition. But in that front, it's one of those situations where it can be a bit challenging. You notice that her quads don't look as full here. You notice that the glutes look very, very dense. I mean, you can tell she has the muscle up top. Everything is there. But the problem is it's not showcasing as well like it does over here on Eduarda, right? We can see it very clearly. Eduarda, she just stands, a bit stronger. It's a bit more of a dramatic hourglass look. We get a lot more glute, a lot more quad fullness and shape. So no matter what, in my opinion, that in a lineup, excuse me, there is going to basically showcase overall, pretty dramatically different. So, I mean, this pose, Eduarda owns it. She's winning that pose for sure. Isa obviously still has all the same indicators, but, it takes away from her upper body here. Doesn't look as big, doesn't look as developed, doesn't look as, dramatic of a tapered look. Midsection doesn't look as tight, as tiny as Eduarda's here. And, the lower body can appear even a little bit out of balance compared. So I think it's really hard to say in that front pose that it could have gone any other way. And some of that may just be the posing. Some of it also may be, the lack of the same level of development, which I do think Eduarda just barely beat her on that development. But this is just an indicator to all you watching. Very, very important to know your poses, know your posing, and also know where your physique is in general as far as true genetics go, right? Like when I'm working with athletes on posing, we are always trying to frame, okay, well, what's your strong point, right? Like that's what I like to call it. And what's your weak ones? How do we showcase your strong points? And how do we pull back any of the weak ones so they can't see it, right? And sometimes that's hiding muscle groups. Sometimes that's changing your angle. Sometimes that's whatever it's going to take to get that best look, right? And so we do see that a lot here, and you'll see that in the pros too. It affects even the top two wellness athletes in the freaking world, folks. So that's a big thing. Now when we look from the back, this is where, again, it got closer and also a little bit further. Like you could have given Issa the back in some ways, right? She dramatically improved her glutes. She dramatically improved her quads. She dramatically improved hamstrings. I mean, there was a lot there, but Eduarda still, even here, I think she does showcase a bit better of an hourglass, just a little bit more of that shoulder fullness, tighter pull-in, and, lower body, it's pretty comparable. But, it just does give you a little bit more of that glute density look in the upper glute, which is really, really key in this division. If you're going to get the top round, everything there, that is what judges are looking for in wellness. All of you watching, you're a wellness competitor. Excuse me. Again, you're going to want to be ultra focused on that as a target point. What we can see here, very, very close, very comparable. Maybe could even throw that to Issa. Doesn't matter because Eduarda has such a Francielli look. She almost beat her in every single pose at that point otherwise, right? So, it could have gone any which way. But I think that Eduarda definitely did showcase the biggest improvements. She has a very clean, consistent look, a very good tie-in, very good, Issa's glutes just kind of lack that same level of depth. So I think that does prove that, again, Eduarda coming out on top there in that lineup. So Issa, if she's going to continue to improve this and, come back, she does every time. She does time and time again. Fantastic athlete, fantastic representation of criteria. I think she's going to have to tweak that front pose a bit. I think she's going to have to work on that to kind of, open up the shoulders more, increase it. And again, some of it's going to be genetic and, structure of her physique actually. But I do think there would be ways, to maybe bring out those quads a little bit more, tighten this in a little bit more. And that might really help her a lot because then we're going pose for pose, very, very close at that point. Honestly, she added so much glute density. She added so much quad density, everything this year. I think that she will do it again. And it's going to be a very, very close race here between Eduarda and Issa for a while, I would imagine. So let me know what you think. Do you prefer either one's look? Do you still think Issa, she should have had it? Let me know in the comments. And, keep in mind, wellness division right now as it's shaping out, this is what you should be looking to look like. You should be working on getting that lower body dominance, getting the quads developed, perfecting the glute shape, and also, as always, making sure you're posing style. All right, thanks for watching. Coach Ryan is out.